The Kolkata rape case, is it now tangled in bruising and polarized politics? Is this a campaign now for justice for the victim of the horrific Kolkata rape and murder, or simply about the removal of Mamata Banerjee as Chief Minister? Has TMC lost the narrative battle to the opposition? Is a street protest an answer to providing justice? Has this protest now been taken over by the BJP? Joining me now is Syed Zafar Islam, the BJP senior spokesperson and former member of parliament. I'm joined by Saket Gokhale, the TMC MP, joined by Fuad Halim, the leader of the CPIM, and by Jayanto Ghoshal, senior journalist. I appreciate all of you joining us. I also want to make a disclosure. My wife, Sagrika Ghosh, is a TMC MP. I have no interest at all beyond asking the questions. And the first question is to you, Saket Gokhale, because the fact is that these images that are played out all day across channels will be seen as yet another evidence that the Mamata Banerjee government is losing the narrative to the opposition, which is hitting the streets, the BJP in particular, and saying, look, we want the Chief Minister's resignation, that these protests, according to the BJP, are organic.
Thank you, Mr. Sardesai. I mean, you nailed it. You nailed it when you said it, that the images that are being run on TV, I'm astonished that no channels running the images of all the Kolkata police officers who were grievously injured today with the stone pelting done by these so-called protesters. I mean, those images shown will also help people objectively make up their minds over whether this was a real protest or whether this was hooliganism. Second thing, see, that's the difference. The BJP needs a narrative because they've been defeated the elections in 21, in 24. The same goes for the CPM. They need a narrative. We do not need a narrative. Right from day one, what we've been saying is that we stand for justice for the victim. In fact, the Honorable Chief Minister had given directions to the Kolkata police that by Sunday, she said down on Tuesday, by Sunday, if the case is not closed, I will hand it over to the CBI. Now, what happened was that the High Court, in its wisdom, decided to immediately hand over the case to the CBI. The case has been with them. I have a very, very, very simple question today. If anyone is protesting for justice, today the CBI has the accused, arrested by Kolkata police, the DNA evidence and the forensics. Now they've opened a second case against the principal Sandeep Ghosh on some corruption-related charges. See, these two are mutually exclusive. I'm saying nail Sandeep Ghosh if he's done corruption. But why is that stopping the CBI from filing a charge sheet in the RG Kaur rape and murder incident? What are they waiting for? They're waiting for so that the BJP can politicize this incident, take the streets hostage, indulge in violence, because the CBI, the probe is done. They should file the charge sheet immediately and start the trial.
I'll come back to you, and I'll come back to Mamata Banerjee's lapses that I'm going to list out, since you're claiming that you all have handled this case properly.
No, we haven't. No. There were a few lapses. I will admit with all humility that we might have done 99 things right. We definitely did one or two wrong. But we are biological. It's the non-biologicals who don't make any mistakes and don't admit them for 10 years. We admit that there have certain things we could have done better, and we are working on making them better.
I'll come to specific mistakes, but Syed Zafar Islam, while we play these images, look at some of the images of arson, of clearly attempts being made to what many would believe is hooliganism. Are all these people who have come out on the street Chhatra, are they really students? Or was the agitation taken over by the BJP? That's the charge the left has made. That's the charge the Congress has made. And when I look at some of those visuals, what do you expect the police to do if the protesters also no longer resort to peaceful protest but resort to arson?
Rajdeep, you have to understand sentiments of the people of West Bengal. How Mamata Banerjee has behaved, how the administration has behaved, how people have been actually ignored, and their sentiments have been actually completely ignored by the administration of Mamata Banerjee, and particularly Mamata Banerjee as well, because everything was done under her instruction. She happened to be the Chief Minister, she happened to be the Home Minister, she happened to be the Health Minister, yet what she has done, one or two lapses, what he is talking, Mr. Mukherjee is talking about, I think if the people, they need to speak to the people of West Bengal, they know it's only lapses, and not lapses, it is intentional.
Does that justify arson, sir? Does that justify the kind of arson that we have seen on streets? I asked you a simple question. Are these students, or has this been taken over by the BJP, sir?
Not at all. Why would BJP indulge in arson and all? It is the people's agitation. Students will be there. People will be there for sure. But why they are on the street? Because in a democratic process, everyone has the right to protest, but they are not being allowed to protest peacefully. Their demands are not being heard because there is a dictator sitting in the form of Mamata Banerjee in West Bengal, and that is what she's trying to impose things what she thinks is appropriate and
Okay.
ignoring the sentiment of the people. That's why there is an agitation by the people.
So
And
you're
in a
saying
democracy, what
you're
people
saying
do?
it's a democratic agitation by the people and organic agitation against the Mamata Banerjee government. Fuad Halim, the CPIM has chosen to distance itself from the protests that took place today, and on record the CPIM claimed that this entire agitation had now been taken over by the BJP and RSS. Is the CPIM saying that what we saw today on the street are organic protests or organized political protests?
Well, this is an orchestrated protest, which is what you call it reveals a bonhomie between what the Trinamool needs at this point of time for getting as a backdoor exit from the imbroglio. All of its minions, including the top echelons, are involved with. Now, one has to see what is coming out in terms of evidence and why the Bharatiya Janata Party leadership, who are all Trinamool people, are trying to take a leaf out of the way Trinamool behaved during the left regime. And the Trinamool is comfortable because they want this conversation to overshadow the exact processes that are raising unanswerable questions. What are the unanswerable questions? The Trinamool, Saket Gokhale is kind enough to say that on behalf of the TMC there have been certain lapses, but it's not his responsibility. It's the chief minister who should come across and say, is the commissioner of the Calcutta police who should come across and say that they are not being able to answer the questions being raised by the Supreme Court. On the day of the body was discovered on 9th of August, you got people from the forensic medicine department hovering around the body in the seminar room from more than one medical college. You got members of the medical council of West Bengal who are present there in the seminar room. You got people who are coming as lawyers who are there, whereas the mother and the father were not allowed to see the dead body in the seminar room. Lapse is a very what you call unfortunate word that my dear friend is using. This is criminalization of the administration over here. You've
So
got the
you're making a
medical
distinction.
administration.
You're saying those questions remain unanswered, but at the same time, you're not willing to associate yourself with the protests taking place on the street or the ones that took place today. Am I correct?
See, that there is a general anger in the people of West Bengal, and this anger is being reflected at different levels. If you look at the entire medical fraternity, the students, the junior doctors, the residents, and the senior doctors, they are in unison. You got the people of West Bengal who are protesting simultaneously on various fronts. Today, we have held our own protests across West Bengal. Over here, you have a situation where you have these fake, what you call student leaders who come across, and the BJP says we are going to support them. Suvendu Adhikari is trying to help the TMC get out of this tight situation. Mamata Banerjee, Abhishek Banerjee can't be seen. They've not made a statement for the past 10 days. They can't face the people of West Bengal.
Well, that's not true.
Fawad
Halim, that's not true. They've made statements. I think we have to be, the problem
in the past
with
10 days
politicians.
we haven't seen.
Sir, 1 minute.
There's no
1 minute.
statement
The
from
problem
Mamata
with
Banerjee over the
politicians.
past 10 days.
Yeah, they've made statements. We've seen those statements. She even led a protest which many say question that because Jayanto Ghoshal, the truth of the matter is Mamata Banerjee, many believe, has lost the narrative. The fact is that Trinamool Congress has not been able to address some of the questions, and I'll come to each of them in a moment, that have been raised by objective personalities. Forget politicians. People who are concerned about the rape and murder without politicizing it have raised questions that the Mamata Banerjee government has been unable to answer. Real-time information, and the entire narrative has spiraled out of control.
Rajdeep, thank you. Rajdeep, there are two aspects of this story. The one aspect is that rape and the murder. It's a terrible incident, and it is true that there is a very strong anguish and anger in the civil society. And several, the processions and the protest rallies we are onlooker of those things in Calcutta today. But today what happened is another aspect, that this is the normal, organic, spontaneous catharsis of the people of the West Bengal. Now, today, it has become a political party's program. And although BJP said that we are supporting, but it's a student front, I don't know why they have not announced it, that it is their program. What Arjun Singh was doing in the students' movement. We have seen the footage. And the junior doctor said that they are not participating in this demonstration. I think BJP could have waited to see the Calcutta civil society's normal, natural, organic frustration, and BJP thought that they are in hurry. And these two issues are different. One is resignation of the chief minister. Just few months back, they got the mandate. And now you are demanding the resignation, the ultimate. But
you made your
priority
point.
has been diluted.
Made your point. You're making
priority has been diluted. What is the priority?
Okay, let Syed Zafar. No, 1 minute. Let Syed Zafar Islam.
The chief minister.
Okay, let Syed Zafar Islam respond. Syed Zafar Islam, is the BJP making the mistake, and the charge is being made by the left also on this program, of being so openly political about this agitation? Your leaders are out on the street, and you call it a students' protest.
Rajdeep, you have to understand two things, very, very important things. I think all of you are missing. We had approached the administration for protest. We didn't get the approval. We had to approach the Honorable Court for seeking approval to protest against Mamata Banerjee's administration, who has been responsible for this murder and hiding this murder and rape case, and somehow trying to protect the rapists. Mm-hmm. So something which we wanted to expose and protest against the lack of approach, the correct approach of the Mamata administration, but we didn't get the approval. So you see the dictatorial approach Mamata Banerjee has, and everyone is frustrated there. And it is the civil society, it is the common man on the street who is protesting. And
no, but there are BJP flags all over. Syed Zafar Islam, why not, as Jayanto is saying, why not admit we are protesting? Why doesn't the BJP say we are protesting? Why go under the banner of an unknown student organization?
We are, it is only Bharatiya Janata Party who is making noise there. We have actually taken.
So that's also not true. The left is also protesting. That is not true again. You see, politicians do not tell the truth, sir. The left is also protesting. It's not as if the left has not protested. But I want to come to the blunders. 1 minute. The series of blunders, Saket Gokhale, what you call lapses, I want to once again reiterate them. And I want to cut through the noise to do them. Assistant Superintendent of RG Kar Hospital told the family of the victim that she died by suicide on day 1. Lapse number 1. Number 2, FIR was filed after post-mortem and hand over a body to family. That's also confirmed. I'm only going by what is confirmed.
That's not what the Supreme Court said.
No, just a minute. Just a minute. The Supreme Court asked the question 14 hours. You can defend it by saying unnatural death was recorded in the morning. The fact was FIR formally is at 11:30. Number 3, RG Kar principal Dr. Sandeep Ghosh, instead of being asked to quit, was posted to another college within hours. Number 4, a mob entered RG Kar hospital, vandalized the premises, unacceptable in any society. The TMC failed to respond to the social media challenge. As a result, real-time information, including false information that there was a gang rape, reached out into the public. It was not countered effectively enough. Mamata Banerjee, Chief Minister herself, goes on her own street protest. She's the Health and Home Minister. It didn't cut ice. And there was no reach out to the junior doctors who are still protesting. Why not accept? Sometimes why not accept, yes, we got this wrong. Nobody is blaming you for the actual rape and murder. But the manner in which it was handled clearly shows incompetence at different levels. Why not say mea culpa?
No, Mr. Sardesai, with absolute due respect, and every media channel is entitled to their questions. But what you said about social media, what you said about questions, I've personally been at the forefront of battling a lot of disinformation over the last 13 days. What we've seen is that the questions have been, look, people, we can't do anything about them on social media. But where does it start from? Your own channel did a show calling it Dr. Goswami, saying 150 grams of semen found. Your reporter claims, I have seen the autopsy report, when there is nothing like that. How responsible has the media been when fact-checking itself? Number 1. So these questions might be asked, but if you look at the coverage of the media, they've not covered themselves in glory as far as factual reporting goes. I'm not talking only about your channel, I'm talking about the media in general. Number two, I'm sorry, but it greatly amuses me. I mean, what you said about politicians not being honest. Mr. Zafar Islam was talking about protests today. Let me remind him that his government, in whichever state there is a BJP government, what do when there is an alleged stone pelting by protesters? The next day the bulldozer goes to their houses. So we don't need lectures from BJP on how people have a right to protest and what they do. If today a bunch of people would be protesting onto the PMO, I would like to see what the Delhi police and the BJP would have done. If they were stone pelting, I would like to see what the Delhi police would have done. These guys, so even when there is no stone pelting, they look at the clothes of the protester and they send a bulldozer to their house. We saw what happened in Madhya Pradesh a few days ago. So please, Mr. Zafarul Islam, people know the truth about your party. Let's not underestimate the people's intelligence. And the last point, Mr. Sardesai, about the narrative. Let me jog everybody's memory and take you back about 3 months when we saw tourist media coming from Delhi and Noida, BJP running the whole Sandesh Kali propaganda. What happened eventually? Turned out it was a land issue that all of you were trying to turn into some gang rape, murder, women's issue. The people of Barashat gave their response at the elections. The elections happened. And sorry, let me also point out that there were mood of the nation surveys at that point saying how anti-incumbency, Mamata Banerjee is the narrative, Sandesh Khali is a Waterloo. We are not here for narratives. We are here to get justice for the victim and to govern the state.
But would you concede, Saket Gokhale, let's assume that the media spread wrong news, the social media in particular, disinformation was spread, the semen theory, the gang rape theory, there was misinformation spread. But the fact of the matter is the empathy was missing. Junior doctors want a sense of empathy, want to feel that the government of the day in Bengal is standing shoulder to shoulder with them. And that has not been seen. There is an empathy factor. You cannot deny that this constant combativeness is not going to get you anywhere.
I'll be very honest with you. Like I said, we might have done 99 things right. We might have missed one. I'm not saying we were perfect. I'm not saying that if we were to go back, things would be done in the same manner. I'm not saying that. But at the same time, with the amount of conspiracy theories being spread on social media by the BJP IT cell, with the kind of things that are coming out, look, this was politicized. This is one Trinamool Congress government. We are fighting an onslaught of three parties, the Congress, the CPM and the BJP, who have made a great alliance for themselves in West Bengal. Our might and their might combined together with the BJP and the government of India and the CBI together. Mr. Sardesai, look, we don't have a big IT cell. We don't have a disinformation network. We don't have it. We tried to counter as much as we could. But the
fact, Mr. Gokhale, is that all these parties, the Congress at least is supposed to be your ally, but even they in
No,
West
it's not
Bengal,
an ally. No, Mr. Sardesai, they fielded candidates against us in the election. We have never allied with the Congress. We've never fought elections together with the Congress, so that is wrong.
Okay, so you're part of the India Alliance, but you're not part of them in Bengal.
No, there is no India. Where is the India Alliance?
Okay, there's no India Alliance. Okay, there's no India Alliance. You've given us a news point. There is no India Alliance. Okay,
Congress is not our ally. Congress is not our ally. I'm saying that straightforward.
Okay, they're not an ally. There's no India Alliance.
They've never been an ally. No, they field candidates against us.
Okay. You claim to be part of an India Alliance before the election nationwide, but in Bengal you're not. But Fuad Alim, you see, the fact is that you need to separate issues. There is the issue of the rape and murder, and by all accounts, including DNA, forensics, autopsy, all suggest that the Kolkata police actually caught the right person in 24 hours. Since then, there has been a lot of misinformation spread, which has been unfortunate in that regard, including gang rape theories, semen theories, all proven wrong. Are you going to give the police a break? Forget about the government for a moment. I'm making a distinction. The Mamata Banerjee government's incompetence can be discussed separately. But in terms of RG Kar, the principal, for example, not being sacked. But the truth of the matter is, aren't you confusing issues, Fuad Alim? The left, at least, when it calls for justice, should at least accept that the right person has been caught. Why not ask the CBI to ensure, as Saket Gokhale is saying, file a charge sheet immediately? I had a police officer yesterday on my program who said within a month, the person can be tried and prosecuted.
Well, the person who has been arrested was a civic volunteer who was staying illegally in a police barrack. You have to understand, he was using a police motorcycle which was not issuable to him, and the Calcutta Police Commissioner has taken no steps in that regard. A criminal, if I take your words that he is the accused and he is the culprit, and we do not have to look beyond him. He was existing within the Calcutta police apparatus, working for the Trinamool Congress as a Trinamool Congress agent in the welfare department, using police facilities to continue his illegal activities, which, if I take your words, ended up in the murder and the rape of this girl perpetrated by him. And the Calcutta police has taken no step as yet. There's a lot of misinformation, and I sincerely believe that the Trinamool Congress is also partly responsible for creating that misinformation as a cloud so that real issues get what you call fudged up.
What is the real issue according to you, Mr. Ali? What is the real issue?
There is a mafia running in the hospital setup in West Bengal.
Okay.
This
mafia. You're saying the corruption. You're saying the corruption, the mafias in the hospitals are the real issue. You see that.
Let me just qualify what I'm saying. MBBS students have to pay money to pass. You got postgraduate trainees like this girl who was murdered, who when they have to submit their thesis, have to pay money. This principal in Rajdeep Medical College has bouncers, private bouncers in the principal's office.
As is Mr. Ali an investigator?
What is happening here in West Bengal? And this. No, I'm Saket, you're not from Bengal, you don't know what.
If you have this evidence, go to the CBI. No, Mr. Ali, if you have evidence, go to the CBI.
No, just a minute.
Your former colleague Shantanu Sen, who was in the office when the principal's bouncer was fighting with the people, with the new principal who had come to replace him.
Mr. Ali,
your colleague Shantanu Sen was there in the office.
Okay.
Please ask him. The evidence is there.
Mr. Ali, hold on. Saket Gokhale, please don't. No, Saket Gokhale, each person gets equal time. He did not intervene when you spoke. I want to though bring in Jayanto Ghoshal. Just a minute. Jayanto Ghoshal, all of this makes the Trinamool Congress, the allegations that have been there in the past, that Bengal has become a party state, that Bengal has become a state where there is this lumpenization that has taken place. All the chickens are coming home to roost, many believe. That this incident highlights perhaps that after 13 years in power, Mamata Banerjee needs to reboot or she will be booted out. Do you go along with that?
No, Rajdeep, you have to accept one thing, that it's a law of nature, that there are several fault lines in the system. Especially health is a very sensitive department. I remember when Jyoti Basu was chief minister, the corruption of the health system was there, and Prashant Toshur, then health minister, resigned. So this is a system. And when CBI is inquiring, now possibility of ED also is there. So why don't you wait for some time? Because who raised?
Is this in the process? That's the criminal investigation, Mr. Ghoshal. But do you concede the longer this continues, Mamata Banerjee's government has serious questions to answer over its administration. The manner in which these people like Dr. Ghosh are appointed, people now against whom there are corruption charges being made, all of this raises the question about the lumpenization of government at some level.
No, actually, this is the opportunity also for Mamata Banerjee to correct the fault lines. And I think she will do that. I mean, you have to accept one fact that there are a lot of system failures also. Mamata Banerjee is now, she is also very serious to correct those fault lines. And, the parents of the victim also admitted one thing, that Chief Minister West Bengal first raised for CBI. So there is no hide and seek. Okay. If CBI can investigate the whole thing, and I think now should be a political consensus, because it's a human issue, it's a social issue. Now you have to address this.
The fact is that Bengal's politics has been polarized. When Mamata Banerjee was in the opposition, she would organize bandhs and strikes against the left government. Now it's the BJP which is doing it to the Mamata Banerjee government. In a sense, it's the past has come back to haunt her. This is a moment either she reboots, course corrects, accepts the lapses, or she will find possibly that the opposition gets even greater strength in the days ahead. What we've seen today, in a sense, therefore, suggests that Bengal remains a state on the edge. Saket Gokhale, Fuad Alim, Zafar Islam, and Jayanto Ghoshal, appreciate all of you joining me on my top talking point today. When politics takes over, what happens to the fight for justice? At the end of the day, please remember, a young girl with dreams in her eyes went to that hospital, a place of healing, to educate herself and become a fine doctor. She was raped and murdered. The first step should be justice for her above all else. And then administrative incompetence, and whoever is responsible for that must also be held accountable. Politics, on the other hand, will mean that justice could get lost.